JB. We'll go into that later. And Epiphany Sunday, of course, is the Sunday immediately before January 6. So now you know why we're telling the story of Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. That's the story of the Magi and their journey to Jerusalem and Bethlehem. They came, we believe, somewhere in Babylon, that is present-day Iraq, Iran, following a newly discovered star, followed it about 1,000 miles, which would take about a year on foot in a caravan. Now, we'll be singing a song called We Three Kings on Sunday, but I'd like to talk to you a bit about some historical problems with that song. First, they were not kings, but rather they were magi or astrologers. And we don't know if there were 3 or whether there were 4 from the king's court in Babylon. In fact, there could have been 14 for all we know. The only thing we do know is that there were 3 gifts. And historians have also suggested they would have had to undertake a substantial journey like that with a huge caravan, because one of the things that it brings is an armed escort because of the value of the gifts that they were bringing. Robbers along the road would only know too well what they were carrying. One estimate I read suggested that the whole entourage might have numbered as many as 300. So just imagine what an intimidating impact that must have had when they first came knocking on the door of King Herod in Jerusalem. And by the way, I've heard it suggested that the reason we call them wise men is because, unlike most men in all of history, these guys stopped and asked for directions. Seriously, though, when they continued to Bethlehem, which was only about 5 miles south of Jerusalem, to find Jesus there, who was at that time almost 2 years old, and they found him there in a house and not a stable in Jerusalem. So picture that in your mind as the setting of the scene, as we now hear the story that Matthew told in chapter 2, verses 1 to 12, where it is written, "After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east